I just found out my BF is cheating on me. I've been dating this guy for 5 months. We go well together. I really like him. I saw us maybe lasting a really long time. I think I suspected from the beginning that he liked this other girl. Well, he literally said that he did, but that he dealt with his own emotions and moved on. He even set up his friend and this girl and they are now dating. He later admitted that he felt a little jealousy. Gosh, I feel so dumb. So I stupidly hoped that he would do as he said and move on from her and choose me. But my friends just told me, after waiting like a month, that he was flirting with the girl on Snapchat and that he had been telling them, my friends, that dating me was a mistake. He apparently wished that he hadn't dated me and feels like he should be with this girl. I trusted him. I don't know if I was in love with him, necessarily, but I think I would have eventually. He always said he loved me. I never said it back. I told him that one day I would and that I'd just move slow. I feel like a second choice. I feel so stupid. I haven't told him I know yet. He apparently told my friends that he wants me to break up with him so he isn't the a-hole and he's CHI with the girl. He would have to break her and his friend up. I half want to drag it out so he'll be miserable for a few months. Be all touch and feely and everything he apparently wants in a girl. I just know this is gonna give me horrible trust issues. I saw him snapping her sometimes but I didn't want to be the GF who was paranoid and didn't want him to have female friends. I feel so anxious. I don't know what to do. Well, I do know, but I know that once it's done I'm gonna feel terrible and I'll have to deal with the fallout. What if he wants to try again? Even though he did this, I don't know. I know I shouldn't forgive him, but I'm just not mentally well enough to deal with this right now. I don't know why I typed this. I just need someone to talk to. I want a man like this. I want a big, strong, masculine, tough, intimidating, and stoic man. But with me he's actually a giant sweetheart who has no problem being vulnerable and crying in front of me. I want to cultivate a warm, safe environment where he can open up to me about his emotions or problems. If he needs to cry he can. I like the idea of a man crying in my chest and I run my fingers through his hair and rub his back. And of course I was to be able to cry in front of him and open up to him about my problems or how I'm feeling as well. My stepmom broke my game, so I broke her car windows. Just to put it out there, I'm 15. In my house, my parents always told me that as long as I'm under their roof and I don't pay for anything, I don't get rights. If they paid for any of my video games, I couldn't play them when they told me not to. My stepmom was specifically known for throwing things in my face and bossing me around more than my dad. I usually try to be respectful and not say anything that would get me in trouble or start something, but this time things were gonna be harder. This is because my dad was on a business trip for his work. As for the story, I just got off of work for the week. It was a Saturday afternoon and I just wanted to get in, not deal with her and go to my room to play some Call of Duty on my PlayStation. What made it better for me was that I was able to finally get a PS5 after months of saving and years before it came back into stock. The PS5 has better graphics and runs faster than the 4. In my opinion, it was worth every penny. Don't get me wrong, I still save. I just like to spend some money on things I enjoy too. I took a shower, made myself some noodles and hopped on my console to play. About 15 minutes into my game, she walks into the room, telling me that she wanted me to take out the trash this morning. She always loved making arguments out of something small. I reminded her that I didn't have time because I had to rush to work in the morning and that I just got in the house and was gonna do it when I finished eating. I had even set an alarm and everything, just to avoid her. I assumed that someone pissed her off, because the next words out of her mouth were more hostile. She said, "Fuck your food, I told you to take out the trash, so you need to do it now." At first, I stared at her in shock. She would have never pulled this with my dad around, but she was cursing at me now. Since she wanted to come at me sideways, I turned back forward to my screen and continued with my game. In seconds, I felt her snatch the headphones off my head. "I know you heard me. I'm not gonna tell you again. If you don't get your ass downstairs and deal with that trash, I'm gonna break your game." It didn't feel like a bluff, but it was boiling me that she was talking to me like that. I told her to get out of my room before I called my dad. She told me to call him, and so I did. It was going straight to voicemail, no rings. I was gonna text him, but she snatched my phone and told me that I'd get it back when I learned how to listen to her. At this point, I was fed up. I told her that we were gonna have real problems if she kept disrespecting me, because now I wasn't in a good mood myself. She explained that before she came in here, she already threw my switch in the sink so that I could see what happens when I don't follow simple instructions. And all because it was my money that was being flushed. Before I knew it, we were arguing and going back and forth, in a toxic argument. There were no more words exchanged in a sudden moment and she snatched my console out of its cords and tossed it out of my open window. When I ran down to check on it, she followed me just to kick and abuse it more. I wanted to lay her out one good time, but I decided to go even farther. I grabbed my bat from out of the closet and started cracking it against her car and the windows. She tried to fight it out of my hands and I kept breaking everything I could until the neighbors stepped in to pull us away. When we could get in contact with my dad, hours later, it was a whole thing, which is another story, but I lost $1,000 worth of games over some trash. I masturbated for 12 hours. This is weird and I can't tell anyone Earl, but I have to tell someone. I masturbated for 12 hours today to find out the effects so you don't have to. First of all, I prepared 3 32-ounce water bottles, and had a meal of 1 cup steamed rice and 1 cup mixed vegetables, peas, carrots and green beans, with about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. I also took a basic daily all-in-one vitamin. I began by assembling a random collection of different porn clips, porn games and full-length movies. Breakdown. Full-length movies took too long to get to the point. The story dead spots made the little soldier begin losing interest, so I switched to the next option in the run, for science. Porn games worked very well for maintaining the heat of the moment, until they didn't. It turns out there are a lot of porn games that are unfinished, and generally run out of content before they reach the point of porn game, rather than the initial date simulation, as well as mini games causing use of 2 hands that removes your work hand. Also took a while to get up to speed. Next I moved on to porn clips, which I will say is the holy grail of porn. Short, straight to the point, and you can fire off rapid-fire clips of things that excite you, reducing downtime. Porn movie downtime, 30%. Porn game downtime, 45%, still maintained interactivity. Porn clips, 2% downtime. I could see this as easily being the most addictive form of adult media. The first 8 hours seemed to fly by with regular breaks for water. After the initial 8 hours things became interesting. Even with regular drink intervals I began having a constant dry mouth, along with that morning breath taste. Around hour 10 I began developing a headache, along with some eye floaters, likely body not being able to deliver the standard amount of oxygen due to diversion of blood flow to the member. Hour 11 I increased my water intake, seemed to help a tiny bit, but symptoms were persistent until the end. Eye floaters also increased by 100% by the alarm end. The orgasm that followed the alarm was by and far one of the most extreme I've ever had, coming in at a close second to when having real sex with my wife. Final notes: the plume of skin below the tip of my penis, circumcised, is slightly swollen, but not dangerously. Arm feels fine. I thought it would be a lot more sore. It took about an hour after completion for my mouth to go back to regular moisture levels. Heart rate was pretty much back to normal within 15 minutes of completion. Headache is now minimal without need of medication. No immediate health issues have announced themselves. This would be different from user to user, due to health issues and whatnot. Overall takeaway: it was a fun experiment, that I would not be interested in trying again. LOL. My husband is divorcing me over Jake Sully and IDGAF. That's right, folks. A fictional character who can't even breathe the air here on Earth. Jake Sully, popular blue alien cat daddy, has burnt my already super shitty marriage completely to the ground, and at this point I couldn't possibly care less. My husband's been a controlling jerk about things before, but he has really escalated, and this whole situation feels like something that we should be talking about with Dr. Phil. I'll start by saying that I love the Avatar movies, which my husband does not like. I don't bother him about them. I have certain friends who are also super interested in the movies and I'm able to connect with them about it. My husband has a history of being very aggressive when he's angry, but he has never physically attacked me before up until today, when he burst into the room where I was sleeping, screeching, threatening me and pushing me down and into the wall. Why? Because he looked through my phone and saw that I had read fanfiction smut about my favorite character, Jake Sully. It was Tumblr, so definitely some good content. He erupted in a maniacal rage. My husband truly genuinely believes that somehow, I have cheated on him with Jake Sully the Na'vi, who is not a real person. I was sad that my husband has viewed porn before but is truly not into that type of thing, and he thinks I'm a legitimate freak of nature for looking at the things I was reading. I disagree. Shoot, I thought the stories were tasteful and true to the lore. Anyways, picture this. You walk outside with your morning coffee to enjoy the paper. You hear faint, unhinged yelling before your neighbor emerges from his house screaming at the top of his lungs that his wife has cheated on him with Jake Sully. You threw your family away for a fuck alien. You head inside on that note, because you're my 72-year-old neighbor, Dolores. God, Dolores, I am so sorry. My husband has also disconnected our Wi-Fi and cancelled our Disney Plus subscription in an attempt to restrict my ability to watch the Avatar movies. I have a history of suicide attempts, and he told me if you yourself, you can meet Jake Sully. He has told his entire family and everyone we know that I am sexually obsessed with a fictional character and that I need serious help. Jake Sully, if you are real, this is probably a good time to come scoop me up on Bob. Just throwing that out there.